Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer who barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground came a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed is a millionaire. The kinfolk said, "Jed, move away from there." They said, "California is the place you ought to be." So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars, the Beverly Hillbillies. The sun was shining brightly over the expansive, beautifully manicured backyard of the grand mansion in Beverly Hills. The grass was a vibrant green, perfectly trimmed, and stretching out like an emerald carpet. On this particular morning, a lively chase was taking place. A voice echoed across the lawn, filled with a mix of playful competition and breathless exhaustion. "You just do not want me to beat you," the voice said, trailing off into a light-hearted laugh. "I beat you all around the backyard, and you do not think I was really trying. Milton, I am going to qualify for the Beverly Hills Jogging Club before you do," the companion shouted back, determination evident in every stride. "This time I am really going to beat you." The sound of heavy breathing and rhythmic footsteps filled the crisp morning air, creating a strange rhythm that caught the attention of the neighbors. From just across the property line, sharp eyes were watching. "You sound like a scarlet dog," an old woman observed, her voice sharp and filled with immediate disapproval. She stood on her porch, squinting through the bright sunlight at the spectacle unfolding next door. "She's chasing Mr. Drysdale around the backyard." "Chasing Mr. Drysdale?" "Yes, she done caught him once. She stripped him right down to his underwear." A younger, gentle voice chimed in, filled with innocent confusion. "Why would she do that?" The old woman shook her head, her face tightening with a mixture of horror and fascination. "Must have done that when she was strangling him." "Strangling him?" "Yeah, his face is all red and his eyes are bulging out. You could use his head for Halloween." "I just cannot believe it." "Why, you will believe it when you see his tongue hanging out of his mouth. It looks like he hiccuped his liver right out. Come on, if you have got the stomach for it, let us go see what is left of him." Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, the chaotic race had come to a sudden halt. A man lay sprawled on the ground, gasping for air, his face flushed and his clothes disheveled. A woman stood over him, looking down with more annoyance than pity. "You are always thinking of yourself, Milburn," she grumbled, crossing her arms. "Why could you not collapse on the walk? You know those grass stains will never come out of your clothing." "You are all hot, Margaret," the fallen man wheezed, clutching his leg in agony. "I have got a terrible cramp in my muscle." "What muscle?" The woman snapped back, unimpressed by his display of pain. "You do not have a cramp, you have a spasm in your flab. Margaret, you are absolutely killing me." Just at that moment, the neighbors arrived at the edge of the property, breathlessly observing the scene. "Jed, we got here just in time," the old woman whispered urgently to the tall man beside her. "She's going to grab that other leg of his and make a wishbone out of him right before our eyes." The tall man, Jed, looked at the couple with a calm, analytical gaze. "Maybe it is some sort of a game, Granny," he suggested, trying to find a peaceful explanation for the bizarre behavior. "Well, if it is a game, there's going to be an undertaker keeping the final score," Granny declared, stepping forward with righteous anger. "I am going over there right now to put a stop to this." Jed reached out and gently caught her arm. "Granny, if Mr. Drysdale ever found out that we have seen this happen, he would never be able to hold up his head again in this town." "Well, if we do not stop her right this minute, he is not going to have any head left to hold up," Granny argued, pulling against his grip. "Come on, Granny," Jed said softly, trying to calm her down. "You do not want to stop a fight, you just want to get in on one yourself." Granny scoffed, turning her head away. "Oh, you have got a deeply evil mind, Jed. Jed, please, at least let me go over there and claim the body. That brute of a woman will bury him in his underwear if we do not step in." Back on the grass, the exhausted man was slowly trying to pull himself up, ignoring the dramatic commentary from the fence line. Now, stop worrying about me," he said, dusting off his hands. The only thing worrying me right now is whether or not we will be accepted by the Beverly Hills Jogging Club. All the best people in society are in it. It will help us socially in ways you cannot even imagine. Margaret looked at him, her eyes narrowing. Milburn, do you always have to have an angle for everything you do? I am joining this club strictly for health reasons. The man smiled a sly, knowing smile. You want the members to put their money in your bank, and I want the exact same thing. So tell me, what is wrong with a healthy bank? With that, he stood up completely, trying to regain his dignity. I will be at the office if anyone needs me. Back inside the neighbor's house, Granny was still pacing the floor, her mind completely consumed by the dramatic events she had witnessed. Jed, there is only one person to blame for all that violence next door, she stated firmly. Jed looked up from his chair, completely surprised.
Who is that?
You, Granny said, pointing a finger at him.
Me?
Jed asked, tilting his head. Yes, you. You stopped me from scrapping with Miss Drysdale. You did not see her acting up like this when I was whooping her on a regular basis. Oh, Granny, Jed sighed, shaking his head at her stubbornness. Spare the rod and spoil the neighbor, Granny declared proudly, as if repeating an ancient piece of wisdom. And this is just the start of it all. Whooping a man is heady stuff for a woman like her. First it is her husband, then it will be the postman, then the garbage man, and before you know it, it will be the newspaper boy. Jed smiled patiently. Granny, I still have a strong feeling that we do not know all the facts of the situation. Well, I know one undeniable fact, Granny snapped. We are getting Ellie Mae and Jethro completely out of this neighborhood before they are corrupted. Here I am over here setting a beautiful example of meekness and kindness and Christian forbearance for everyone to see. And that husband-beating hussy over there is tearing down everything I am trying to build over here. Oh, my goodness, ow. Jed chuckled softly. Granny, if you get any meeker than you already are, you're going to break some bones. Do not make jokes about this, Jed, Granny muttered, rubbing her arm. Oh, Granny, Jed said with a chuckle. Oh, look, here comes the sweet darling now. The door swung open, and a heavy, enthusiastic footstep echoed through the hall. Auntie Jethro. A voice called out. Ah, it is too late, Jethro, Granny said, looking at the young man with a look of deep pity. She has done been bit by the beating bug, and there is no turning back. You beat Jethro? Jed asked, looking toward the door as Ellie Mae entered, looking entirely energized. All the way to the airport and back, Ellie Mae announced happily, wiping a bit of sweat from her brow. Granny threw her hands up in the air. Beating bad. Do not blame her, boy. The sins of the neighbors have been visited unto the children, even unto their underwear. Jethro looked at his uncle, completely bewildered by the conversation. What is she talking about, Uncle Jed? Jed sighed, trying to translate Granny's wild thoughts. She thinks Ellie tore your clothes off and gave you a massive beating out on the road. A beating? Jethro laughed heartily. We have not been fighting, Granny. We have been jogging. Did you hear that, Jed? Granny cried out, her voice filled with deep despair. They have been jogging. Oh, that my grandchildren should ever come to such a terrible state. Oh, what in the world is jogging? Granny, jogging is not anything but running, Jed explained calmly. Running? Granny asked, her eyebrows furrowing. Yeah, it is incredibly good for you too, Jethro added enthusiastically. Movie stars and absolutely everybody in town is doing it. Mr. Drysdale is even joining the jogging club. Ellie Mae is getting a special outfit just for herself. She is going to wear an outfit just like mine. Jed paused, a look of pure amusement crossing his face. You mean Mr. Drysdale goes jogging in an outfit just like yours, Jethro? Yes, sir, Jethro confirmed with a big nod. Have you not seen him out in his backyard? Oh, yeah, we have seen him all around, Jed replied, looking over at Granny with a knowing smile. Satisfied now, Granny? No, I am absolutely not, Granny insisted, refusing to back down. He is far too old for that kind of nonsense. Granny, it is entirely for your health, Ellie Mae explained gently. Well, Mr. Drysdale says it lowers your castor oil. That is cholesterol, Jed corrected her softly. Well, it lowered his until it was dragging on the ground, Jethro joked. Just be happy Mr. Drysdale has finally found something to get his mind completely off of money for once in his life. Meanwhile, inside the grand walls of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, the atmosphere was entirely different. The sound of rustling papers and ticking clocks filled the office. Oh, this idiotic jogging business is going to get me $30 million, Milburn Drysdale exclaimed, rubbing his hands together in pure delight as he paced behind his massive wooden desk. $30 million? His loyal secretary, Miss Jane Hathaway, looked up from her typewriter, her expression filled with utter disbelief. Chief, that is completely ridiculous. What does the name Jason Detweiler mean to you? Miss Jane thought for a moment before answering. $30 million. Exactly. Drysdale pointed a finger at her. And he happens to be the president of the Beverly Hills Jogging Club. He is one of these absolute physical fitness nuts. So? Miss Jane asked, still not seeing the connection. So this is my absolute biggest chance to grab off that $30 million account for our bank, Drysdale explained, his eyes gleaming with greed. I happen to know that his own personal banker, Carl Wagner, will absolutely not go jogging with him under any circumstances. Miss Jane sighed heavily, shaking her head. You also happen to know that Mr. Wagner is 84 years old and has to walk everywhere with a sturdy cane. Isn't it beautiful? Drysdale laughed, completely ignoring the ethical implications. Chief, I sincerely hope you choke on that $30 million, Miss Jane said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh, what a glorious way to go, Drysdale sighed dramatically, leaning back in his chair. Fortunately, justice will prevail in the end, Miss Jane noted, looking down at a set of official documents. In order to join a prestigious jogging club, you must have an official doctor's signed statement saying that you are entirely physically fit. With your freaky, completely unpredictable up and down blood pressure, you will never be able to get one. That is all you know about the matter, Drysdale countered, pulling a piece of paper from his coat pocket with a triumphant flourish. I have one right here. Just sign it.
Me?
Miss Jane stepped back, horrified. Just scribble your name right above where it says MD, Drysdale urged, thrusting a pen into her hand. But I am absolutely not a doctor, she protested, holding her hands up. But no one has ever been able to properly read a real doctor's handwriting anyway, Drysdale reasoned. Just sign it. Chief, I absolutely and completely refuse to do that, Miss Jane stated firmly, setting her jaw. Okay, fine, Drysdale said, pulling the paper back and thinking quickly. I happen to know a prominent brain surgeon who will gladly sign it for me. What brain surgeon? Miss Jane asked, highly skeptical. Jethro, Drysdale answered with total confidence. Miss Jane stared at him. Jethro. A short while later, the heavy front door of the Clampett mansion opened, and Mr. Drysdale walked in alongside Miss Jane. Well, Mr. Drysdale and Miss Jane,